Portugal, the country of incredible beaches, tasty wine, well-known football clubs, and exquisite food. But is it any good to start your business there? Let's talk about it now! Hi, I'm Oliver, and welcome back to the channel AskMeStartup, where we talk about startups, small businesses, and the world that surrounds them. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and pushing the notification bell so YouTube lets you know whenever I'm uploading new content. If you're into business, if you have a startup, if you have a small business, please feel free to download a free startup checklist, link in the description below. Okay, today's topic, Portugal. Is it any good to start your business there? Now, as always in this series, we first take a look at the facts about the country. So Portugal is located on the western part of the Iberian Peninsula and has only land borders with Spain, its direct neighbor. The capital is Lisbon, and it is also located on the sea, which means that, of course, Portugal has had a very rich nautical history. The GDP per capita is around $38,000 US, which is remarkably $5,000 per capita lower than its direct neighbor Spain. So if we want to start a business there, we first want to understand how entrepreneurial is Portugal. And we can see that it is a mediocre country in terms of its entrepreneurial spirits, which means that yes, you will find people and a lot of people that are attracted to Portugal to start a business there, but then there's also a lot of people that do not want to do it. We have to account that actually the quality of workforce might not be sufficient for everybody starting a business. But we do also know that the education level is increasing and that more and more people are having at least a master's degree when they are entering a startup. If we look at the legal practices in the country, we can say, yes, we have a transparent government, we have a good legal framework, and we have the support needed to start a business, which is good. And it's also very cheap to start a business there. So we are in an environment that, aims to become better than the rest. Please also keep in mind that Portugal is part of the European Union, and hence, when you settle your company there, you will have access to the complete European market. Besides, also keep in mind that the Portuguese language is spoken in at least a few other countries, but mainly also in Brazil, which means you will have natural tendencies to have a large market access overseas. Now, another thing that is important is the cost of living. Portugal actually has one of the lowest GDPs per capita in Europe, and it is also true that the income level is among the lowest in Europe. Now, that is challenging if you're trying to migrate out of Portugal, but it is good if you are working and living within the country, because the same amount of money, let's say 100,000 euros, will take you down much longer in Portugal than it will ever do in countries like Switzerland or Germany or France or anywhere like that. Now, if we talk about Portugal, we also have to think about what are popular brands in Portugal, which are well-known companies that are originated from Portugal. And that's where it becomes tricky, because I haven't found any that I personally would be aware of. I looked up and the largest company seems to be EDP, which is a energy company providing gas and petrol and of course solar power energy. Nonetheless, the second largest company is also a energy providing company, which tells you nothing much of relevance comes out of that country in terms of international market size. Also, if you look at the startups that are available, we can see that we find I would say, normal suspects, like we find fintech, we find real estate tech, but nothing incredibly specific that has boosted its way through Europe. Then we also have to talk about startup infrastructure. And as you might have been aware from one of my last videos, the top 15 cities, I'm going to link it up here for startups, Lisbon isn't on the list, or Porto isn't also on the list. That tells you that the ecosystem hasn't had chance to grow currently to a state where it becomes an important player in the European market. Now, we are aware that Lisbon is getting better and that the Portuguese government actually is providing additional help to start business and to attract very well educated entrepreneurs to their country. We're talking about tax benefits, but more important, I think, about a visa and about financial help. So that brings us to the question, is there a startup visa for Portugal? And the good answer is yes, there is. So if you are a non-EU citizen, you can apply for the startup visa, and I'm going to link it down below in the description. As always, you would require to have a good business idea, a scalable business idea, a fast-growing business idea, and a business idea that should be resided in Portugal. And it must be validated by one of their registered incubators in Portugal. Now, of course, you need the funding, etc. But the good thing, and that should be of relevance to anybody starting a business or planning to start a business in Portugal, is they are aware of the lack of infrastructure. So what they've come up with is called a 200 million euro investment fund. That actually matches up 50% or up to 5 million euros of already invested capital from venture capitalists into your startup idea. So what does that fund do? It actually matches already granted investments into your startup by 100%. Meaning you can get the double amount of money for your startup if you are able to apply for that specific program. I think that is a huge boost and a very attractive thing to do, because Portugal, of course, is, or let's say, in the beginning phase of attracting startups, and providing monetary capital is one of the most essential things you can get as a startup. We are then also able to attract the human capital and hence grow businesses from Portugal. Alright, everybody, I hope this was helpful to you. If you plan to start a business in Portugal, just drop a comment down below and let us know what you're thinking of it. And if you have applied to one of the funds, just let us know and tell us your experience with it. As always, please subscribe and smash the like button, and I'm gonna see you next time.